horror fam, to HHN 365 Halloween Horror Nights podcast. My name is Mike, and as always, I'm here with my co-hosts, Duff, Jess, and Jonathan. How's it going, guys?
My stomach still hurts.
Yeah, I have a headache. I'm not gonna lie.
That's a little teaser of what we did last night. We'll get to that later. But before we do, as always, you can find us on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at HHN365 and on TikTok at HHN365pod. We have an amazing Discord. The link is in the description if you'd like to join us and hang out. And we have a merch shop at HHN365.com. You can always leave us a voicemail at 407 906 4134. On today's show, we're going to head over to the West Coast, and that means we are going to be joined with our good friend Jonathan from the Hauntline to go over the announcements and all of everything. We didn't get a full announcement, but we're going to go over everything that we do have. Jonathan, how's it going?
Oh, it's the most wonderful time of the year. You know, we're right around the corner from Horror Nights. We're getting clues and hints dropping everywhere. And yeah, I'm so excited, y'all.
Oh man. I get to go see that event for the first time ever. I've talked about it all. Yeah, so I am so excited. But let's before we get to that, we have a little bit of things to go over. But yeah, we have a lot of stuff to go over. Let's get all of the 365 housekeeping out of the way. What's going on with us?
Yeah, so of course, as we've mentioned, we do have our live trivia coming back to kick off opening week of HHN 32. That's going to be Monday, August 28th at 8 p.m. Show up at 7:30 if you want a seat for sure. Just guarantee yourself. We're going to be back at Half Barrel Beer Project, just a couple miles down the road from Universal Orlando Resort and directly across the street from Epic Universe. So I guess now it's actually right next to the Universal Orlando Resort, technically. Anyways, yeah, come join us. We're going to have, once again, another beer brewed specifically for the event by Half Barrel Beer Project. We're going to have a lot of prizes, and trivia is just a lot of fun to play. They have a new setup, and it's going to be pretty nice for us.
I am excited for this beer. I know we can't officially announce anything yet.
Not yet.
But I just want to say that this beer is arguably going to be better than the last beer, and the last beer was fucking amazing. So yeah, come check out what Half Barrel Beer Project has made for this event. We had nothing to do with actually brewing it, but no. we did tell them we wanted a specific style, and we got to name it, which I think is pretty amazing, because the people at Half Barrel Beer Project are so nice to us, and I just love going there and doing this event, and they're so sweet to us to let us put our name on a beer that we really had nothing to do with. But yeah, it's such a fun time. Come and try our beer that's not really our beer.
And play trivia.
Yeah, and you know that part too.
But
the beer. Also, one other thing I think we should shove right up front while you're still listening to us. We are relaunching our YouTube channel, like really this time. We haven't posted anything since HHN 30's media night, but we are actually back. As we alluded to with my tummy hurting, we went to the Taste of Terror event, which is the food preview for HHN 32. We recorded ourselves. Good, bad, ugly. We got it all. So by the time you're listening to this, that'll already be on YouTube. So go check that out. It's at HHN 365 like anywhere else.
Yeah, it definitely has the HHN 365 touch.
Oh
so
yeah.
if you like the irreverence the show has, it has the same quality. For sure. So,
and if you don't like us and you're only here for the Hauntline, well, then skip our YouTube.
Yeah.
You're a smart person, honestly, though.
So. Listen, I'm going to be watching it for sure, and I can't wait.
Thank you, John.
Of course.
All right.
It is time. We have, as Mike said, not the technically full announcement list because we're still missing 2 scare zones and a show. But otherwise, we got all the stuff we need for a hype list and all that. So let's hop into it. The first thing was something that was teased at Midsummer Scream, but also rumored, so we kind of knew what it was, and that's going to be Terror Tram, The Exterminators. The Terror Tram is back, and this time the bugs are taking over. Tour guide Larry Larva and his bug-headed exterminators are out to get rid of humans with the help of his killer new pesticide. You'll be swarmed by many-legged horrors who will worm their way into your fears. You'll end up with a walkthrough of Jupiter's Claim from Jordan Peele's film Nope. I'm excited about that part too.
My biggest question is, are the tethered going to be bugs now? Are they going to be like insects in the tethered suits, in the jumpsuits?
Oh. Give me that. Give me that. That is so goofy.
I love that.
This did come with an announcement video as well. Really fun one. Like some of the best kind that HHN does. You really got to look at what the aesthetic of this is going to be. And The Exterminators was a scare zone back in 2015, and it looks like they're definitely taking a campier approach this time around. Much more akin aesthetically to like Bugs Eaten Alive. Well, still a completely different premise. It's kind of leaning that far into the campiness.
Which is the right direction to take it, I feel like.
Agreed.
Absolutely. It was, honestly, it was hilarious. It was, I would say, maybe the best video of this whole, HHN launch. It was super fun, and I really like Larry Larva. We got to spend a lot of time with him in the video, and he was great. He just had such a great big personality that I think is going to really work for the tram.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
I love him. I know everyone's surprised why I love him. He is very much Beetlejuice. Big Beetlejuice vibes. I know. Shocking.
No.
I don't like Beetlejuice at all. Did you know that? I really like it. I think the video, I agree with you guys, it was the best one out of both coasts for this season.
It was gross. Like
I loved it.
It grossed me out, man.
It was wet and sticky, and when that bug like peels, it's like, it was.
Yeah.
I loved all of it. I can't wait to see how and I mean this in a positive way, bad the masks are.
Yeah,
they're gonna be silly.
Yeah, this has I think some Toxic Tunnel vibes going on a little bit.
Yeah.
This some some really cheesy HHN Hollywood vibes going on, but throw in a fun story and the tethered. This is gonna be great.
Mike, this is a hell of a way to get your introduction to the Terror Tram.
I
gotta say.
Yeah.
That's true.
Know. Yeah, I'm pretty excited. We're getting to our hype list in a little bit, but I am not to spoil anything. But yeah, I'm very excited about the Terror Tram.
So real quick, let's go back to Larry Larva because you compared him to Beetlejuice, and as mentioned, Murdy kind of shot that down a bit.
He's wrong.
Here's what Murdy did give us about him. He's a human botfly infested with botflies. He owns the company and is their TV spokesperson. He invented a product called the Squooge that'll guarantee to kill humans 100% dead or your money back. And his character personality is inspired by the question mark guy who did free government money infomercials and Dave Aykroyd's Base-O-Matic skit from early SNL.
Okay.
He definitely meant Dan Aykroyd there, but yeah.
Oh, yeah, he did. Or you did. Whoever wrote that.
It was him.
Okay.
I think he clarified it later. But yeah, I think this is almost a response to someone going, or there was another response going hey, is he based on Beetlejuice? And he just went, nope. It explained exactly who he was based on, even though he is. It's 100%.
You get the good with John Murdy and you get the bad with John Murdy, and I will take the bad any day if we can get Larry Larvas coming from this random obscure thing that's just in John Murdy's head that's been stuck there for 20 years. He's no, I based it on this random weird thing. I can't wait. I can't wait.
I just want to know what rabbit hole he was going down at 3 a.m. in Ireland, to come up with this concept. Because honestly, to me, especially given how the scare zones are in Hollywood, especially compared to your guys' scare zones out in Orlando, Orlando can be silly, but it can be incredibly scary. I feel like Hollywood has, in my opinion, has got to stick more to the silly side, because the way that they are deployed in Hollywood, I don't feel like they can fully take advantage of the scary aspect of a scare zone. I want them to just be kind of silly and lighthearted and fun. I think that's why I'm really excited for the Terror Trams theme, because it kind of taps into that a little bit more. It's not taking itself very seriously, but it's also, it's a fun concept. It has a little backstory. We now have Larry, who's joining Harry. Next, we'll have Terry. I don't know. There's a little sequence there. I'm very excited to see this one, though. I think it's the right direction to go.
I just had a realization as you were saying that. I'm sorry. So in the Broadway production of Beetlejuice, which this has nothing to do with anything, Beetlejuice's name we find out is Lawrence, and Larry is a nickname.
Larry.
Whoa,
Lawrence.
man.
I really think John Murdy is blowing smoke up our ass. And I think I'm more than qualified to tell you if this is based off Beetlejuice.
Jess, John would never do that. He would
never
never do that.
Never. Maybe he just saw like the musical when it was in LA. And he just got really inspired. Well, just saying.
All right. Well, let's give you a few more tidbits from always trustworthy John Murdy. This will have new figure music. While it is inspired by the 2015 Scare Zone, it is definitely different from it, as we mentioned, by the whole aesthetic, really. Construction updates have revealed that this tram will have a mini house, which Murdy has confirmed, saying that one part is for regular Terror Tram and one is for RIP. Hell yes, thank you. Love
Lucky
that.
bastards.
Yeah.
Lucky
We get one night.
That's the way to do it, though, honestly.
Oh, yeah.
John was also asked how the Exterminators gang tie into the original 2015 Exterminators Zone, and that group of characters led by the Ratcatcher. What happened to the Ratcatcher as well? Murdy replied, Larry Larva made a hostile takeover of the company and ousted the Ratcatcher. And there is a fun little thing you can do relating to the Terror Tram, and that is if you call 855-622-6666, you will receive a special message from Larry Larva. And I know, Jonathan, you enjoyed that quite a bit.
Oh, it was great. It was just sort of the spiel he gave in the commercial, but it was still really fun. And having this other layer of marketing to the Terror Tram, something that isn't an IP, I think is really quite amazing. And I am really surprised that this Terror Tram, like for this final drop, got pretty much all the marketing. When you go on the website, it's like one of the it's the main marketing thing you see right when you go on the website. Which I find really interesting, especially when they announced an IP with this drop as well.
We haven't talked about this, but why don't one of us pull up our phones and put it on speakerphone? We played an Instagram voicemail from our phone last week. Let's listeners hear it. Let's give it a call.
Is anyone picking up their phone?
I'm doing it right now. Yes. We will just, yes, I'm doing it.
Sorry, my phone is charging on the other side of the room.
What is the number?
855.
What is it? 855
622
622
6666.
Because of course it is.
Okay. I'm calling, putting it on speaker. All right.
Are you tired of humans? Are you sick of being stepped on, squashed, swatted, and sprayed? Did you know insects outnumber humans on this planet 1 billion to 1? Humans don't stand a chance. Our helpful and discreet operators are standing by because humans are a pest.
It is literally...
Thank you for calling Universal Studios Hollywood. Detailed in...
It is literally the Beetlejuice commercial from the movie.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Murdy, how are you going to tell me?
I love it.
It's amazing.
All right. I know we're going to have a lot more to say about this once we get to Hype List, so let's move on. And no one else can take this next announcement besides Jess as the single defender, or the main defender on this show.
I will remain the defender. God. All right. Evil Dead Rise. Bitches.
Okay.
So, I mean, we kind of knew. We heard that there were rumors that this house hadn't been touched since last year, and obviously it hadn't. So, an ancient curse rises in a new setting, an LA apartment building. The Book of the Dead is about to unleash unimaginable horrors on you and your Scream Squad. Evil has come home. So Murdy gave us some details on this, because of course he did. Located in the former Walking Dead attraction, which we know. Hinted that Bridget eating the wine glass scene will be included in the house.
That's pretty badass, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. But don't they have like I mean, Hollywood, did they do Truth or Dare? We didn't do Truth or Dare, right?
We did not.
They did like some of the pretty gnarlier scenes in that one, and also in, I can't remember the other one. I've only seen the videos. I'm so uneducated in this shit. The other one, the other Blumhouse one that they did with like the hand in the blender, was that Truth or Dare?
Oh,
Unfriended.
Oh yeah,
yes.
Yeah, they did like some pretty gnarly scenes. So like, I wouldn't put it past them. Cheese grater, all of that.
I'll say this much: one of the first years that I went to the event, they had Evil Dead there as a house, and the things they did with the effects, like they had the split tongue. It's from the Evil Dead remake, right? There's that scene where one of the characters splits her tongue.
Mm-hmm.
They did that in person and other things like that. And I was absolutely blown away by how gruesome everything looked. So I think, Jess, you're right on the money. This one's going to be fucked up, man. Like, we're going to see some crazy stuff in this one.
I'm ready. I really am. I liked the movie. We watched it, me, Duff, and Jonathan together. And we, at the end, were like, yeah, that would have made a really good house. And now they've changed their tune.
No. One, we already knew the scenario.
I know.
And I think we said it made a good house already. It did.
Yeah, but it wasn't.
You know what I
mean. What was it? You guys were okay with something else coming back? Holidays in Hell.
Because I've never seen it.
Oh, okay.
Well,
you never saw Evil Dead Rise. You saw Horror Hotel.
Well, you wait till you see my hype list. Maybe you'll be surprised.
John, how do you feel about this announcement? You are the local, so you're going to see this way more than we are.
I'm pretty stoked, honestly. I think it's one of the rare times where we get something that y'all don't, and that feels good. Not to be bitter, but it feels kind of fun to be like, wow, this is something that it rarely happens. It's always Orlando getting the cool stuff, and this year we finally have something that's like, oh, this one's ours, baby. This one's only on the West Coast. I have not seen the movie yet. I have to.
Oh. Really?
I have not seen it yet, so now I have to do my homework. But it is kind of fun though, because obviously we've been talking, and even you guys posted that amazing meme of corporate wants you to find the difference between these two. Amazing. It's great to see kind of. It's another rare instance where we're actually going to see something that might have been canceled for whatever reason come to life. Like, for instance, I don't think we'll ever see Hollywood's Beetlejuice. I don't know if we'll ever see Halloween 3, which was definitely supposed to happen, or Billie Eilish. Little hint, wink, wink. I'm making a video about this, by the way. But it's one of the rare things that we get, one of the rare chances we get to see something that got scrapped come back. So I'm super stoked to see it.
Yep. And Murdy he answered a question, I guess, on Twitter. Someone said, can you officially say that Universal Horror Hotel was supposed to be this last year? And Murdy answered, as he always does, you can draw your own conclusions.
Yeah. I mean, he's not allowed to say
no.
It is. I get that. You're not allowed to. But we all know it. We all know.
Yeah.
I have noticed there are some people who are a bit more positive, not in the sense of like being excited it's coming necessarily, but that they're going to change more than we would expect. And I hope all of you are right. I really hope you are right.
That I agree with, yeah.
It was a good house. Horror Hotel was a good house, and I have no issues with it at all. But if it literally is like a 90% the same thing we're seeing, just obviously different overlay on top of it, it's going to bring it down for me, because we experienced that going into HHN 30 after HHN Light here in Orlando. A house that we kind of loved got harmed, and Bride of Frankenstein Lives. We all thought it was great, and then suddenly we finished HHN 30 and it was down our list because we'd experienced it, and then we saw it again another year.
Yeah.
I do have a feeling the front half of the house is going to be pretty much the same. The bathroom, the kitchen, the bedroom, the elevator out front. I have a feeling that's all going to be pretty much just, slap a Evil Dead sticker on it and call it done. The back half is where I'm very curious to see, and you guys can speak to it more because you've seen the movie, but I don't know yet what could actually happen in the back half of the house, but I do think that has the most potential to be different if it does get major changes. You know what I mean?
Without ruining the movie, I would say even through the back half, you can kind of see where they were going completely.
Interesting.
I think there is enough difference from what was in Horror Hotel versus what's in the film that it doesn't just have to look like slapping something new over it. Also, once you get to the back end, it wasn't, like the kitchen and the bathroom scene. It's like very specific scares in very specific places. Where as near the end of the film, you can kind of change it up a bit. It doesn't have to just look like it was slapped on top. We'll see.
All right. And lastly, we got one more announcement that wasn't already previously announced at Midsummer Scream, which is Holidays in Hell, the heavily rumored returning house. And the description goes as follows: from New Year's Eve to Thanksgiving, your favorite holidays to celebrate with your friends are going to hell. 'Tis the season to scream in this holiday nightmare. The scarier, the merrier. What do you guys think? Before we get into the murdy details, what do you guys think? I mean, we kind of all knew it was coming, but how does it feel to officially have this announced?
I mean, I have no issues with it from a personal perspective because I had not seen the house. I missed 2019, and I've heard it was a pretty damn good original for Hollywood. So, yeah, I mean, selfishly, I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, I'm excited. Oh, no, go ahead, Johnny.
From what I think is, I watched the video. I didn't go through the house, but I watched the video, and I will say, for bringing back a maze that was before, this is a pretty good one to bring back. From what I saw, it looked really fun, had a lot of cool scenes and a cool atmosphere, and I'm happy to finally see it in person. I'm not super excited for it because I saw the video, so I know pretty much exactly what's going to be in the house. And I do have concerns considering there won't be a scare zone at the end. There's no way it can be given its location. But I don't know. I think it's an interesting addition to the lineup, and I'm happy to finally experience it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to have it retrofit into the new location behind Transformers. I think it's the T-block or T-pad. I forgot what they're calling it officially now.
Yeah, it's the T-pad.
Yeah.
T-pad, yeah. So the Parisian courtyard, it's very oddly shaped. And to fit that into a tent is going to be interesting. I have a feeling if anything's going to change, it's going to be the finale, because they could very well throw in the dark Christmas stuff that was in the scare zone that you mentioned, John. Just kind of stick it right at the end there. But for the most part, I think it might be pretty much the same. But, and like you mentioned, Duff, as far as Hollywood originals go, it was a lot of fun. It was really cool. And I'm just glad to have, I'm glad to have an original come back, and I'm glad that they're kind of focusing more, and they know that people want more original content from Horror Nights Hollywood. And, it did well enough, obviously, that they brought it back. They felt the need to bring it back. So I am pretty excited to go through it again, especially because I didn't get a lot of footage of it back in 2019. It was a very early Hauntline days. It was just a podcast back then. So I didn't really get a lot of footage of the inside. So I'm excited to do that.
You've been given a second chance.
I have, and it's I'm gonna take it and run with it.
I agree with everything you guys said. I'm excited to see it. I haven't seen it, and I love when haunts do holidays. I really do.
Yeah.
And yeah, Jonathan, John Murdy basically confirmed a lot of the things you just said. He confirmed that it's going to be in the T-pad location where Killer Clowns was located. And he also confirmed that it's going to have the same music as the previous house. And someone asked a question, will Holidays have some new changes, or will it pretty much be the same? And Murdy answered, it's a different layout with a few tweaks along the way. So that was his official response.
So it's pretty much the same then.
Yeah, sounds like it. Because I feel like he said that in the past couple of years about returning houses. Basically, he's like, yeah, tweaks, sure, right.
He said the same thing about Exorcist, and it was the same damn house. So there's that.
But that's it for all the new announcements. However, we were given further details about stuff that has been previously announced. One of which I know we're very excited for in Monstruos, the Monsters of Latin America. And so what I meant to say is we didn't get like the official release at all before. Like he talked about it. The website didn't update. They didn't post it on social medias or anything like that. So we finally got that full posting. So the description they officially now have for it is: Ten cuidado, with La Muerte as your guide, you and your Scream Squad must try to survive 3 terrifying legends: the blood-sucking Tlahuelpuchi, owl-faced witch La Lechuza, and bone-ripping El Silbón, which, as you know, we're all excited about. So we didn't need this. We didn't need description.
Good job, Duff. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
Those were some hard words, man. You got through them. I appreciate it. Good job, dude.
I try. But also, Murdy did add some detail as well beyond this. He was in there last night rummaging around. Sounds like a joke we'd make. In El Silbón's giant sack of bones. Scary stuff in there.
Dang.
Yeah. We will also be rummaging in his giant sack too, so.
Very sad.
But was he using the buddy system? Because I feel like if you're going to go rummage through someone's large sack,
you should have someone there.
Never go alone. The more hands, the
never go alone. Oh, man.
Oh, no.
Oh, God.
I'm just glad John Murdy doesn't forget about the boys. That's a...
Goodbye.
Jonathan, would you like to take the further updates we got outside of that house?
Yeah, so to finish off all the previously announced houses, because we're going to be doing our hype list in just a little bit. There was also Stranger Things 4, The Last of Us, The Exorcist Believer, Universal's Monsters Unmasked. We already talked about all of those plenty in previous episodes. But there's also Chucky Ultimate Kill Count, where we do have some updates. My friend Kevin was able to take some good shots of the facade for Chucky, and now the area where we've said before looks like good guy doll boxes on the factory now have Chucky in them, or have good guys dolls in them. You can see them all in their little boxes, which is really cool. It really, shows that the event is almost here, that they're putting all these little details on it. And there's one more fun detail Murdy gave. Someone basically asked, hey, Chucky's known for cursing. That's kind of his thing. Will he end up cursing in the house? And basically, Murdy said, Chucky cusses a lot, but the theme park censors him, which just makes him more pissed off. And that is one of the funniest ideas I've ever heard for a house, and it's literally perfect for this character. It's so much better than just having him not say the urge to say, the F word or whatever, but having him actually be censored in the house is genius. And I really hope this plays well in the house, because I think that's such a fun and unique idea, especially for this type of already IP original we're getting.
Yeah, I think like we've known since the announcement that it's kind of going to be a super meta experience, but hearing these specific details, just him getting censored and then obviously him going crazy and the censor going even crazier, hilarious concept. I love it. I cannot wait.
But should we, now that we talked about all of the houses and trams, should we just jump right into our houses and trams hype list?
Are there multiple trams?
Okay, tram. You know what I mean.
Did Beetlejuice and Larry Larva get trams? They're like dual tram tours? I know where I'm going.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's hop into our hype list, and then we'll have a bit more information later. But I think it's hype list time. Let's do it. Who wants to kick us off? We'll start with number 9. Does anyone have anything they think is maybe surprising they want to kick us off with? No?
Not really.
Huh?
I don't know. It depends. It might be surprising to y'all.
All right, go for it then.
Chucky is dead last on my hype.
Oh my god.
Okay, I'm a little surprised.
Yeah,
Nailed it. Yes.
Wow.
Wow. We're never quiet.
Yeah, I'm just not a huge fan of the franchise, and I tried to watch the show, and I just kind of fell off of it. No disrespect, I mean, anything I've seen from Chucky has made me chuckle and whatnot, but I'm just so unfamiliar with the lore that I know the highlights, but I'm so unfamiliar with it overall that I'm just like, meh.
I mean, that's fair reasoning. I mean, I no, not this year, but in other years past, I've definitely had that same reasoning.
Sure. Now, I am hearing that, Murdy's even kind of mentioned it. There's like a lot of fun tricks they've done in this one. And I know that at some point in season 2, there's like a ton of Chuckies. There's even like in the trailer, they break out of there's a ton of them in a truck, and they break out of their little toy boxes. And clearly they're alluding to that with the facade. So I'm kind of excited for it in the terms of like effects. I'm kind of curious to see how they're going to do it. But again, just overall lore, cool. Chucky, yay.
That's so fair, because I think the Chucky lore is incredibly complicated if you just jump into the show. Like the show kind of requires you to watch Child's Play 1 all the way to Seed of Chucky in order to really understand what's going on, because pretty much every single movie is important. They will reference every single movie in some way or form, and they are not kind to people who just started Chucky for the first time and it's like, oh, I can't wait to watch the show, and they're going to be so confused. So I understand not having that background is really going to hurt your enjoyment of the house and definitely the show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. It's like trying to catch up with anything Star Wars right now.
Basically. I'm behind. Hello. I'll go next, and I feel like I might not be alone in this one, and that's The Exorcist Believer at number 9.
Oh, that's my number 9 as well.
It is mine as well.
Oh,
wow. Oh, our lists are going to be very different.
Oh,
so the thing is, like, from the trailer we can see there's going to be many more places they can go. It's not just going to be The Exorcist all over again. However, it's still kind of the same thing going on. We get to leave a bedroom, and that's great. But the film doesn't look phenomenal anyways, and I just kind of don't trust them with the property in general and how they're going to handle that. I can look at every other property on this list and think of better ways they will execute it. The Exorcist, I just kind of fully am like, I don't know what they're going to do, so I'm not very excited about it.
Interesting.
Yeah. I can't get excited over something I won't see until October as well. It's really hard for me to like get hype, especially over a property like The Exorcist that I've never really been into.
Yeah, I didn't even mention the fact I won't see the movie till mid-October, and that's kind of important.
Fair enough.
Yeah. I think that's the main reason, as I just have no idea what to expect. I haven't seen this movie. I'm not a big Exorcist guy necessarily. It's not my favorite genre of movie. Just exorcism films. It could really blow me away. But it is for that reason, because I just really don't know what to expect. It is coming in at my number 9.
I found that point you just said, Duff, really interesting about the movie not coming out. Because with Orlando, we're going to be able to see pre-movie and after the movie. We can, we'll be able to watch the film near the end of the event and understand where the house was going. But with Hollywood, since we're going before the movie comes out, we don't have that ability. We can watch videos, of course, later on YouTube after the movie, officially comes out, and we'll understand what it means, but we will never get the after, watching the film experience with this one, which I think makes it really interesting and probably a lot different than what we're going to, experience later in Orlando's.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. However, you did not say it's your number 9.
I did not. And this one is kind of for the reasons I said before. My number 9 is Holidays in Hell. For a very basic reason, I know literally everything that's going to be in this house. Like, they can lay it out differently. They could hopefully make a better ending, and flesh it out a little bit, like you were saying, John. But I know exactly what's going to happen. And that's why I'm not really hyped for it. I think it's going to be very good, and I think I'm going to have a great time, and it will, on my rankings, end up, pretty high or in the middle or somewhere around there. But for hype, it's definitely last because of that factor.
I think that's fair reasoning.
Yeah.
For sure. Sometimes, there's things that sound good and you just aren't excited for it anyways. Like, it happens. I get it. I think you're probably wrong, but it's fine.
I said the same thing I had the same reasoning for Killer Clowns last year, why it was like super low on my hype list. Then I went through it, and I know I'm in the minority, but it ended up pretty high, even though I knew exactly what was going to be on the house too. So I know for sure this is not going to end up at 9. It will be somewhere higher. So I am excited to see it, just not hyped for it.
That comment alone basically solidified it's going to be your number 9. You just totally jinxed that.
Oh God. Oh, what have I done?
All right. Who wants to give their number 8 first? Who's got something fun?
Did Jonathan from the Hauntline do his number 9?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I kicked it off, Mike.
It was Chucky.
You're right.
Mike makes sure our guests are treated well. He's the host with the most.
You know what happened?
Unlike Larry Larva.
Unlike Larry.
I got confused because usually Hollywood we have 10, and I know Jonathan went first, so I got confused on what number we were on. I thought we were on our second round, but we were still on our first round. I just got confused.
We are.
That's fair.
Yeah. And I'll go 8 first because mine might be surprising. I'm not sure how you guys feel about it, but I put Stranger Things at number 8.
Whoa, dude!
Interesting.
Whoa!
You want to talk about having no faith in them executing something? This could be number 9 for that alone. I just am less excited about Exorcist property as a whole. This is completely about not trusting them at all.
Very
not
fair.
one bit. And specifically for Hollywood, John Murray, when he's excited for stuff. He has not seemed excited for this at all. He has not shown any excitement. He doesn't talk about it like he talks about other houses. And they created what a lot of people consider to be the worst IP house they've ever seen. Last time they did Stranger Things in Hollywood. So yeah, I mean, it's literally just not trusting the team to pull it off.
Damn, dude.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's so fair, though.
Fair, yeah. Very fair.
I'm rethinking everything now. I didn't think about it that deep. Damn.
All right, well, I'll go next. I have for my number 8, I have Holidays in Hell. I haven't spoiled myself on this one. I have done a good job of not, watching original or things that I have a chance that might come back at Hollywood, because I know that happens from time to time. So I really don't watch walkthroughs for that reason, just in case they're going to come back and I will get to experience them. Orlando, for the most part, you know that you can watch a walkthrough because it's probably not going to come back in that same form. But in Hollywood, I've been trying to. But that being said, it's just not. It doesn't feel like exactly my type of house. I have experienced houses like this before, mainly H&R Blood and Guts. So I feel it just feels like something familiar to me. And so for that reason, it's just a little bit lower on my list.
Well, if I may, I'm going to piggyback off of that, Mike, because Holidays is also my number 8. And mostly kind of for the same reason that John said. We've seen it before. You know what I mean? It's been at the event before. And although it's a lot of fun, it's very fun, it isn't the scariest of houses. Like, you're not going to walk through that and get wrecked unless they really switch it up. But it is a lot of fun.
I think from a Hollywood local, that makes a lot of sense. It'll be this low.
Yeah.
It's also my number 8.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah, and I think I'm gonna like it, but I don't think I'm gonna like it any more than anything else that I have higher than this. And also, it just, from the videos I've seen, I feel like it's not gonna hold a candle to Blood and Guts, which is, an Orlando house. So
yeah, listen, most things are not going to hold a hand.
I know. I didn't get to experience Holidays and over here though. So
true.
That's just like a hometown thing, I guess.
Sure. Hometown advantage.
I'm gonna ride or die for it, but I'm still gonna have a great time because I just love silly shit. But it's my number 8.
All right.
Yeah. I guess I'll go. And my number 8 is Evil Dead Rise.
Whoa.
Which shouldn't be too much of a surprise to you guys because I've been very down on this. Making the funny meme of like they're the same picture. It's a fun little joke, but I really worry they're gonna be the same picture. Like it's just gonna be a horror hotel with Evil Dead Rise slapped on it. I think the most interesting part about Horror Hotel wasn't necessarily the layout or the sets or anything like that. It was the story that they gave it. They give it such an interesting and unique original story, and it had so much extra content and pre-shows and videos and all of that, newspapers, that they made for the house specifically. And I thought that part was so cool. And when you take away all of that to just do, oh, the story is the movie, that makes me a lot less interested. It gives it a lot less. I don't know. I don't know how to say this. This isn't the right word, but like a lot less detail, a lot less for me to take in. Instead of now I'll just be taking in what I saw from the film. So that's why it's number 8 for me. But I do want it to surprise me, and I really hope it does. I really hope I go through it, and even if it's the same layout, I just forget about Horror Hotel altogether and or not able to think about it when going through, and I can just fully immerse myself in the house that I'm in. But once again, I think the minute I see that, the maggot mother get out of the tub of that same animatronic, if the minute I see that, I'm going to be gone. Like, I'm not going to be able to appreciate the rest of the house because I'm just going to be immediately like laughing from the similarities. I know myself. It's going to happen. But we'll see.
All that money to deskin and then reskin. Crazy.
Yeah.
But I can keep it on Evil Dead Rise since you were the last to go with 8 because it is my number 7. I kind of went on a tangent earlier in the episode, and it basically mirrors what Jonathan said, but yeah, so you know why I'm not super hyped about this. However, it got up to 7 because Horror Hotel was a banger of a house. So I know that its bones are good enough to carry it through and probably not be the worst thing.
Somewhere,
I'm gonna piggyback too.
Half of Maxie DeVille's face is smiling right
now. You mean Two-Face?
Harvey Dent. Can we?
Yeah, Harvey Dent. Excuse me.
I'm gonna go next and piggyback too because Evil Dead Rise is also my number 7. Now I'm going to preface though, we are in the part of this list. I'm so excited for this year. We're in the part of the list where I'm really excited for this house. I'm excited for everything. I'm excited for all of them, to be honest. But we're in the meat and potatoes list where I can't say I'm not excited for this. I am excited for it, and I believe, Jess, I had defended Evil Dead Rise. Basically, what Duff said is that Horror Hotel was a universally loved house. So I don't think it's necessarily fair to just say like, oh, Evil Dead Rise is going to be terrible because we've seen it before.
Whoa. I need to stop. These are hype lists, not is this going to be good or bad. There is a huge difference.
I know.
I didn't say it's going to be terrible. I'm just excited.
To be fair, Jonathan did say he was concerned about it.
I have concerns. But it's not like I think it's going to be like, I'm going to walk in, I'm expecting it to be garbage,
I'm going to stop saying it's all of you guys. Mike, you and I are on one side, and they are wrong. and John, I hope you're rocking on our side.
365 Civil War.
To be fair, we are probably right at the end of the day.
It doesn't matter if you're right. All that matters is, are we having a great time?
Hey, it's at 7. Again, I didn't put it at the bottom. You probably thought I was going to be my 9.
I did not. I knew it would be Exorcist.
Okay, you probably thought it was going to be my 8.
I did. Thank you for putting it at 7.
You're welcome.
Would that at least get it like a passing grade? Did it get like a D in school?
In hype level? Sure. It's a D. Yeah, D.
All right, cool.
D+.
All right, D's get degrees, so I'll take it.
Yeah, they do.
Hey.
I had way more to say about Evil Dead Rise, but we can totally move on.
I'm so sorry.
It wasn't you, it was Duff that totally hijacked it.
Oh, well,
I was offended.
Does anybody else have Evil Dead, or can I talk about something else? Cool. So my number 7 is Chucky. Ultimate Kill Count. So I don't want to spoil anything for the Orlando side, but I think it might be a little higher. And my main concerns are because Murdy directly said that Chucky's been giving them problems lately.
Ooh.
Yeah, he has.
I didn't hear that.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, did it, like, drop down your list significantly?
Not significantly. Then, like 1 or 2, but I feel like in Orlando, I think it might be... I don't want to make any promises, but it might be in the top half of my list. Maybe one above this one. I'm not there yet. I haven't fully made it, but it felt very low here, and I like the meta of it. I'm worried about the Hollywood of it.
Interesting.
And I'm not trying to knock Hollywood. I think that some of the houses are amazing. I love La Llorona. I'm gonna love. We'll get there, but Chucky's sitting at a solid 7 right now.
To be fair, I totally forgot to add this to the outline, but he said, like, you know, they were doing tests for the other ones and they weren't good, and he's about to test Chucky for the, you know, like, do it for the first time, and he was like, this one's mighty, you know, complicated. You know, this one has a lot of moving parts, so let's, you know, cross our fingers and hope it works, sort of thing. So it wasn't
maybe I misread it.
It wasn't like that. It was like it wasn't working, and John Murdy's like, "Oh no, it's not working." It was more like, "Man, I hope this works," which is still concerning, very concerning. But it's not like Chucky already lit on fire and the house is gone now.
Oh God, could you imagine?
That could also be exciting though too.
Yeah. Oh, it could be. I'd love to see. I
hope I'm
actually
wrong.
love to see it, but I kind of like to see it.
I don't know. I kind of want to see it.
Well, we're actually going live to John Murdy at Universal Studios. John, what's the update out there?
John's like, we hate 365. They're all banned.
And Chucky just burnt down.
All right, who's going?
Somebody.
Because I don't think I've given mine yet.
There you go.
Okay, number 7 on my list, y'all. Universal Monsters.
Wow.
Whoa.
All right.
Okay,
I know.
I'm surprised now.
I said it was going to be a little controversial, and listen, I think it kind of piggybacks off of what you said about Stranger Things, Duff. I wasn't super hot on Legends Collide last year.
That's fair.
Out of all of them that they've done in Hollywood, I think it was bottom of my list, my least favorite.
I agree.
I think I love the Universal Monsters, and I've loved that we've had them at the event every season. I've been incredibly spoiled by Orlando and the magic that is the design out there. So to see Legends Collide out there and then to look at ours, you know, it was kind of like womp womp. But from a design standpoint, it was fun. The story, though, for me, really took a hit because I'm like, where are we? Why are we in a graveyard all of a sudden? Are we in Egypt? Oh, now we're in a museum. What the hell's happening? Oh, Anubis, what's up, dude?
Rar.
Rar. So I'm nervous. I hope I'm wrong. I'm very nervous, especially the clairvoyant in me is like perhaps this is going to lend itself to a lot of black walls because it is in the catacombs, because it is in the setting that it is. Like maybe it's not black hallways this time, but it's skull hallways everywhere. Oh, look, more bones. We're making a left. Oh, more bones. You know what I mean?
Was that the Invisible Man?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm very worried. I am very, very worried. I hope I'm wrong. I hope this blows me away. But I just it's giving very Hollywood to me in the worst ways.
John, you have me sweating looking at my hype list now.
Yeah.
Oh God, do I move something on the fly?
I gotta piggyback off John because mine is also mine is 6.
What?
Oh,
Monsters is 6.
Still has a 7, but
I'm so sorry, Jonathan. I thought John was the last one. I thought you already went.
It's okay.
I'll pause that Monsters one. Please go, Jonathan.
My 7 one isn't super interesting. I guess it is, considering all of you had it like it almost like super bottom. My 7 is Exorcist Believer.
That's high.
It is high, and I kind of had to figure, my reasoning is that if I'm going down my list, Holidays in Hell, I know everything that's going to be in it. Evil Dead Rise, I feel like I know a good majority of what's going to be in it. Exorcist Believer, I don't know anything. And in some cases, that's bad. because you like to know some things, especially when it's regard to IP. But in this case, I think it's good compared to things I've sort of seen before in one way or another. And my first ever Hollywood house was Exorcist in 2021, so it does give me a little bit of nostalgia that that's the first one I started with there. So going through another Exorcist house that isn't just the same thing makes me I don't know, makes me a little happy. That's going to be a nice vibe going into the sound stage and hearing the classic theme again. It's going to feel like my first trip, which is great. And I do think that the way Murdy organized the first house, he said it's based on the band trailer, like that was the whole organization of the house, and it worked really well. Considering this house, they've been calling it a living trailer. Everyone has. Considering the last house was basically a trailer, and it worked so well. I have hope that he's going to be able to pull this off and hopefully recapture the same magic that the original had. It's still 7 because I don't think the trailer from the movie looks good. I have concerns about the film, and I think it's a lot more likely that it's more down than up. But I do have a little bit of hope for it, and I hope that it exceeds my expectations.
Interesting.
I'm not shocked. Never mind. I was already thinking ahead to Jess's.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. Jonathan, I really am sorry. I thought you had already said yours. I just had to. John literally picked the words out of my brain about monsters, and that's why Unmasked is my 6th. Because, like, I'm spoiled. I'm an Orlando local. Like, I got to go through Legends Collide every single night last year.
Oh, it's so beautiful.
The life.
It just, like, it didn't hit the same in Hollywood, and I was so excited for this part 1, part 2 thing. I'm really happy. It seems like we're not doing that anymore.
Thank God.
But, like, I'm excited because I liked how the Hollywood tackled The Invisible Man in, was that 2018?
Yes.
In the Big Monsters house. I liked that. I'm positive about that. I love all these monsters. I've talked about it literally for months now leading up to this event. So I'm going to enjoy it, but I don't think it's going to hit as hard, and I'm going to have already seen ours. So it's kind of low for me, and I have things that I think are shockingly higher than this, especially for me.
You've said it twice, and I'm still shocked. I'm not going to lie.
I know. I'm glad I got you with that one.
Wow. Okay, who wants to do their 6 next? Because I'm shell shocked at the moment. I can't talk.
I made Duff speechless for the first time.
I can go because my number 6 is actually Exorcist Believer.
Oh,
yeah.
There it is.
I actually really enjoyed the way that you put it, John. An analysis of it being a living trailer. I, for one, really enjoyed Exorcist when it rolled around. I think it was 2016 when it first showed up in Hollywood. Mm-hmm. I really enjoyed it. I was actually pretty excited for it to come back again for the same reason I didn't get footage of it. And to me, it's a gorgeous house. Sorry, it's a gorgeous house from like a lighting and effects standpoint. Hollywood did a lot of things that they've never really done before in terms of animatronic figures and effects, the moving bed, Reagan floating, Reagan coming down the stairs. I thought visually it was a feast, and pretty scary, pretty intense. So I'm kind of hoping that they kind of roll with that and piggyback off of that and make Believer a very effects heavy house. And also, as a taller dude, to walk through a house where the kids are going to be coming at you, I'm screwed. Like they're below my visual, my field of vision. They're going to get me. I think I tweeted it. I was like, these kids are going to fuck us up. And I really think that. And plus, I had a very unique experience of being able to watch, literally to me, the best part of watching Oppenheimer in 70 millimeter was getting to see the Exorcist Believer trailer in 70 millimeter film, because something about the flicker of the projector, the sound of the projector even made the trailer so terrifying. I was literally just like, the heebie-jeebies were real. And I'm I don't want to say I'm excited for the movie, but I'm hoping that it does the trick, because the one thing that always scares me the most about exorcism movies is the sound design, and the sound design in the house was really good. So I'm hoping they kind of continue that trend, and it becomes a really scary house to walk through.
hearing that Oppenheimer was the best part of it for you was seeing the Exorcist trailer. I need to hear your Oppenheimer review off mic. Just saying.
Oh, I can talk.
I need to know your Barbie review.
Oh, loved it.
Okay, perfect. That's it. Thank you.
Alrighty, who's next?
I think I think I can talk again. We're good. I'll go. Sure.
He's back, folks.
I'm back. I'm here. Actually, kind of surprised myself with this one here, especially because of at least one of the things that's above it, and that is The Last of Us.
Oh,
yeah. I think my biggest concern. I hate that so many of the lower things are kind of like it's because it's Hollywood, but it's because it's Hollywood. I feel like the Last of Us is going to be so much about just the quality of sets and scale and just the level of detail, and I just don't get that from Hollywood 9 times out of 10. And I hate to say that, but I think this is the house that it is most important that they absolutely just nail it. So that's why it's going to be lower down. I'm still excited. I've seen John Murdy get pretty excited about the quality of like makeup and the quality of character they're putting out, but not enough to get me past experiences in Hollywood.
Interesting, but very fair.
All right, does that leave me when my number 6?
Yeah, you, and then I'll go after that.
All right, so my number 6 is Stranger Things 4.
Whoa.
Yeah, I'm very excited for this house, but I've been kind of using is John Murdy excited type kind of and Duff alluded to it earlier. If John Murdy is super excited about something, if he talks about something, I've kind of trusted everyone that seems to be that they're gonna put a lot of love and care into it, and John Murdy doesn't seem to be super excited about Stranger Things 4. I am super excited for Stranger Things 4, but there was also the 2019 Stranger Things that happened. So over at Hollywood. So I'm hoping that it's really great, but I do have a little bit of concerns for it, and that's why it's my number 6.
Well, funny that you said that, Mike, because that's my exact same number 6, Stranger Things 4.
Wow.
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of it for the reasons you said. That's the main reason, John Murdy not really showing much hype for it, showing much excitement. Another thing is that he alluded to it sort of just being a book report, which does not excite me in IPs at all. I really dislike when they, just do a basic book report fashion. And sort of what you were saying, Duff, with The Last of Us and how important set design is. I think, and might be controversial, I think it's more important in Stranger Things than it is in Last of Us. Because Last of Us, no matter what, you're going to get the scares. Those characters are scary. Like, I mean, they got to nail the costumes, of course, but I think that the scares are just super easy to get done, and we'll be there. Stranger Things, especially this season, like, I don't know if the scares will be that intense as is, because, I mean, I'm just going to have a ton of Vecnas. Like, I don't know. I don't know if the scares will be super intense. I think the most interesting part of it will be the sets and putting you into the world of, all the sets they go in, and obviously the Upside Down, and seeing houses previously. I don't think Hollywood does a really good Upside Down. I think it looks kind of cheesy and weird, especially compared to Orlando. And we're going to see Orlando, and I'm sure regardless of what we think of Orlando's house, I'm sure that our sets are going to be immaculate. And then we're going straight to Hollywood and seeing how they translate it. I think it's just going to feel really weird. And it's unfortunately going to affect my experience of the house in general. They could surprise me. I hope they take it in an interesting way, and I hope I walk through it and go, man, they nailed it. But for all those reasons and a lot more, it's going to be at 6 for me.
I mean, it sounds weird that I just put Last of Us at 6 and that at 8, and you kind of bashed it the same way. But it's all still true. It's all still true. Yeah, I agree with it all, for sure. But somehow Last of Us is still too higher than Stranger Things for me.
Which is so fair.
Man, oh man. Hollywood's got some explaining to do.
They really do.
Hopefully they don't need to. Hopefully it'll all just be great. That'd be lovely. I won't hold my breath. I guess we're going on to number 5 now. I guess I'll take this one because I'm the last one to take this one, and that's Holidays in Hell.
Wow.
Yeah, 5 does feel very high, not gonna lie, but going through all the reasoning, like again on this show, I stick to it being number 5. I think it's kind of a goofy, fun, original concept that I'm excited to see in Hollywood. One, I'm always just kind of excited to see Hollywood originals because there's just not as many. So if they are there, I'm going to be excited for them in some way. And I don't really have concerns like I do for the ones below it. So yeah, it feels a little high, but I think it fits right in there for me.
As a native Hollywood person, it does feel really good to hear an Orlando native say that it's pretty high on their list. That's good. That's awesome.
Yeah, if I had already seen it, it would not be. But yeah, definitely.
Sure. Sure.
Anyone else with their number 5? Don't jump at the opportunity.
I'll just go. I'll do number 5. And to sort of jump off what you were saying, Duff, this one is an original of sorts. I mean, it is an original, just not a house. And that is the Terror Tram, The Exterminators. I think this is going to be an amazing experience from everything the trailers are pointing out and the description and the character designs and Mr. Larry Larva. I think it's going to be so fun. I think it's going to be up my alley, and I think I'm going to have a great time. The reason it's at 5 and not higher is because it is the Terror Tram. I think it can be really fun and exciting, and it's a really unique experience. But in the end, that first half is always going to feel like every first half of the Terror Tram, unfortunately. And the awesomeness of the Nope and Us section that we all saw last year and all praised is not going to feel as special because we kind of already saw it. It's still going to be great. I mean, you still get to walk through the sets and see the characters, and it's an amazing experience, but it's not a new experience anymore. And that hurts it just a little bit. But what is keeping it at 5 and not lower is once again, the idea, the concept, and also that little, I don't know what to call it. I said mini house. That's not what he would describe it. It's just like it's a room they build. It's like a very miniature room of a house that's fully covered that they haven't done apparently since 2018. And that really excites me that they're going to have like a cool little like finale to really wrap up the story. And that little bit of newness that I haven't seen on a Terror Tram before is really exciting and really helps my hype of it.
I am surprised it wasn't a little higher, but I understand the reasoning fully.
Yeah, it's purely because it's the Terror Tram. But I know I am gonna. I hope it works out and the comedy works for me, and I'm just gonna fall in love with it. This seems like something I will fall in love with.
Definitely.
If I may, I'll piggyback off of you, John, because that is also my number 5, the Terror Tram. Yeah. I think again we kind of touched on it earlier, but I think the theme is great to just kind of be silly and fun. And I think to your point, John, I feel like there's untapped potential in the Terror Tram in that just behind the Bates Motel where the Whoville sets were, it's now for like, the picture cars. They park cars there. John Murdy has mentioned in the past that he wanted to use that as like part of the Terror Tram, and I think that would really elevate the experience to like a whole other level if they add like some sort of outdoor gauntlet there. Because you're right, the path is going to be the same for the most part, and that's the one area that would really make it feel different every year if they could just use that spot instead of just parking cars there to rot. If they can use that spot for a gauntlet or something, that would really make it, and it would add to it. So, but yeah, I'm very excited. And plus, we did the Unmasking the Horror tour of Bugs Eaten Alive. Even walking through that damn house with the lights on was giving me the heebies. So I can only imagine if they do it right, the Terror Tram will probably do that to me as well. So I'm pretty stoked for that.
Absolutely. Can I say one more thing about it because I just thought right when you said Bugs Eaten Alive, it came to my head. I have a strange feeling, especially with the announcement trailer that came out, that it might nail the comedy more than Bugs Eaten Alive.
Oh,
that's where what I'm getting so far from all of the content we've given, even the little phone call we just did. I think it's gonna like nail the humor a lot more than Bugs did for me. And that is super exciting.
And to your point, kind of, I wonder if we're going to see any characters, any props, any costumes from Bugs Eaten Alive in the Terror Tram. Because
just B-side walking around.
Ooh, sure. That would be kind of fun.
There was a B-side costume I wasn't aware of. What?
Do they need an air freshener? We can help them out.
We can.
Get yours at HHN365.com. All right, I'll do my number 5, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think, am I the one that has this ranked the highest? Evil Dead Rise.
Well, someone still has not said it.
Oh, okay, cool. So I am not the only apologist. I've already said it. I've been said it. I'm really excited for this. I really liked Horror Hotel, and I don't think it's a bad thing to see the IP version of this house now. I don't think we've ever had something like that where we've lost something, the house was made into an original, and now it's an IP again. I think it's kind of cool, and I think it's fun to see how it looks with the veil taken off, I guess, ? We'll see. It's probably going to drop. I'm not going to lie. But I'm optimistic more than I am about monsters over there because we're not getting this.
Yeah, no, you're right. We're not. We're not.
I don't care what you think.
I just said it's lower. It's 2 spots. All right. It is 2 spots.
And my monsters was 2.
No.
Nope. I don't know where it was.
Said it yet. You don't know where it is.
I said mine 1 spot, but whatever.
All right. I believe I have a number 5 to do still.
Yeah.
And that is The Last of Us.
Friend.
I am very excited for this house. I think Orlando's is going to be probably potentially one of my favorites. I think Hollywood is gonna be good too. It's right in the middle there. I'm very excited for this house.
We had very different. We put them one place apart, and we had very different descriptions of why they are where they are.
Can I just say that I am so excited for Hollywood this year? It's my first time.
Yeah,
it's my first time.
I get it.
That's true.
I would say I'm excited for every single one of these, just because I'm very excited to go to Universal Hollywood this year.
I think that's good reasoning.
I'm excited to have you out here, Mike. I can't wait to chat about it.
Yeah, and I mean the quality is only getting better every year from what I hear. So
indeed,
I'm really excited to see.
All right, I guess that puts us to number 4, and I'll hop into one that a couple people said recently, and that's going to be Terror Tram, The Exterminators.
Nice.
It's just going to be campy fun, I think, and the Terror Tram, while not always the greatest experience, is such a unique experience that it just always adds a little flair to it. And the addition of Jupiter's Claim last year was phenomenal. And Jonathan, I think walking through it again, I'll still be in awe and love it. So that's not going to affect my ranking on it.
Mm-hmm. I'm
curious to see what they do with that. I'm curious to see what the RIP exclusive thing is going to be, because I thought that was a lot of fun last year. I think for me, if you're looking at levels, this is kind of where I have jumped another level of excitement compared to like the past couple. And then the next few will be like the level above. So it has its own little platform here, and it's pretty high level excitement still at number 4.
Well, I guess I can go ahead and jump in. Jess, number 4 is Evil Dead Rise for me.
Whoa.
Yes.
I'm pretty stoked for this one, guys. I think at the absolute very least, from a scares and an effects standpoint, I think it's going to knock it out of the park. I mentioned earlier that the Evil Dead remake was one of my first Horror Nights houses that I've ever gone through, and it blew me away. Like, that one truly blew me away. And it's so hard to find videos of it because it was so long ago, but the house was dark. The set design was incredible. the scares were intense, and the makeup was just mind blowing. So I'm hoping that they are able to carry that through to this iteration of it, because I'm sure there's a lot they can pull from the movie. Speaking as someone who has not seen it, just from the trailers, I'm like, oh, they could do that pretty cool. Oh, that might be kind of fun to see in real life. Oh, they can do that. So yeah, I'm pretty excited for the Evil Dead Rise. And again, it's nice to have something that Orlando doesn't have, because it's very rare for Hollywood to have that.
I will say I'm mainly surprised because you are the Hollywood local. You are the one who went through horror hotels, who knows how many times, more than us.
Sure.
And you had it the highest, but outside of Jess by quite a bit.
Sure, yeah.
Wow. Okay. I respect it.
Thank you.
All right, who's up next?
I'll just jump in here, and I'm going to talk about Universal Monsters Unmasked and put it at number 4. And to be honest, I am kind of worried that I'm putting it this high because, like you were saying, John, Legends Collide wasn't great. In fact, it was my least favorite house of that year.
Damn.
Yeah, like Blumhouse was above it. It was. It's more. I more have ranked it like on a disappointment level. Like Blumhouse, I was never expecting to be good, and I was actually sort of surprised about how scary it ended up being. Legends Collide, I walked through it and I left, and I just went, "What the fuck was that?" Like I was so confused on what happened, and so disappointed, especially with how much Dummery talked about it during Midsummer Scream of that year, and we're just building up hype, and I was going in thinking it was going to be better than Orlando's just based on a story standpoint, and no, it wasn't at all. It was bad, in my opinion. So yeah. So I don't know why I have this at 4. I think I'm excited that it's going to be a more contained story. We're not following part 1, part 2. We have a good amount of monsters. One monster in particular, Invisible Man, that Hollywood has done really well in the past. I think the setting is more grounded, and it's not going to go all over the place like Legends Collide did, which is another benefit. I think Hollywood can make this really scary and really interesting. And honestly, the stuff he was talking about the rat catcher and all the detail he's putting into the story here is making me interested. It's making me excited. And I really hope he pulls it off. And I am happy that it seems like it's going to be like it seems the route it's taking is going to be very different than Orlando. So it's at least going to have I'm not just going through the same house. I'm going through the same story, but it feels like a completely different house. At least I hope so. So yeah, it's number 4 for me for now.
For now.
Fair.
So my number 4, and I hate that we keep saying this, but it's the Hollywood of it all. And again, this is high, but it also feels low. I don't know. The Last of Us.
Okay.
I'm just scared of the black wall effect.
Sure.
Like I feel like it's really easy for them to say, hey, here's, some infected, here's some clickers, here's some bloaters. And don't look over there. No, that's not a black wall. No. That's Pittsburgh with no electricity.
Wow.
I'm really scared about that. But I really want this to wow me, and I want to come out. I don't think it will ever beat what I think number 1 is going to be. But I'm excited to see what they do. I just think ours might be different.
You just said, look, it's Pittsburgh with no electricity and still put it at 4?
That's high, but it's also it feels low because it's middle of the pack. And this is one of the main, marketing IPs this year. This should be top 3 on everybody's list.
No, it shouldn't.
I don't know. It feels low to me, but it's also high. I don't know.
Well,
I'm apologizing for putting it at 4.
So far, you're one of 3 people who's put it below 3. So there you go.
I know. I know. I'm apologizing for nothing.
Damn right.
Yeah.
All right. My number 4 is Universal Classic Monsters Unmasked. I am very excited for this house. John Murdy seems to be very excited for this house. I do think it's going to be quite different than the Orlando one. He was talking about like the Cafe Inferno and all the different historical locations that we are actually going to get to see. It's not just going to be the catacombs. I'm hoping anyway that that this is fleshed out the way that he described it at Midsummer Scream. I think I had it a little bit higher, but then Jonathan, you scared me a little bit with the catacomb walls. It might be be a replacement for black walls, but it's still very high for me. I'm very excited for it at number 4.
All right, I mean more respectable than 7. I'll hop into number 3 because
you'll see.
This one might be surprising for me because the way I've talked about the property in the past, but I am excited to see how it's executed in Hollywood, and that is Chucky.
Yes.
Oh
nice.
wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Nice.
I just think John Murdy seems so excited about this. Like he has found every reason possible to bring it up. Like if you watch his interviews after Midsummer Scream, like he just brought it up in every one just to do it, just to do it. So it really comes down to how excited he is that he's talked about like how impressive the Chuckies will be themselves, how goofy and funny and meta it's going to be, and the facade's looking really good. So I think that's good enough to put it at 3 for me. Surprising, I know, not a Chucky guy, but here we are.
I'm so proud of you, Duff.
Thank you,
Duff. I'm gonna have to piggyback because basically you said everything that I was going to say.
Wow.
I have it as number 3, and for basically all the reasons. John Murdy seems so hyped for this house, and we have to follow the John Murdy hype to get to the the potential for this house, because if he's excited, I think we should be excited. I think it's going to have a lot of meta. I don't know. I'm very excited. I think when Jess said that she was worried about, the John Murdy was worried about the effects, that makes me excited. If they work, we're going to be blown away. I think that was maybe John Murdy's way of kind of teasing that, oh man, the technology in this house is going to blow you guys away. We just got to make sure it's happening.
Yeah, it's so crazy. Will it work?
Yeah. I think that was John Murdy's hint of like, just wait. That's what I think he was trying to do there.
You guys are so positive.
Thank you for joining me there, Mike.
Who are you guys?
You would think Jonathan.
Yeah.
I mean, not yet.
Yeah.
Not yet.
Yeah, he's so.
Wow. I'll do. We're on 3. Am I right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I put the Terror Tram because
Oh.
Larry Larva. I really like him. I think the character design is really fun. We can even take Beetlejuice out of it, but we can't take him fully out. I think it's really fun. I think Hollywood's original characters are not hit or miss. That's not fair. I really like Hollywood Harry. I just think they use him a lot. I'm excited to see something new, something campy. And for the Terror Tram, I really liked it last year, and I can't wait to see kind of what he does with his little bug friends. Bug friends. And also, I'm just going to tell Larry I love him whenever I get to see him. So I'm so sorry for everyone who has to deal with that.
I hope we can get a picture of like you and Larry together. I hope that happens. I'm sure the RIP has some sort of photo out.
Like last year. Yeah, it's possible.
Oh my God. Larry, I'm coming for you. This is going to be great.
Run, Larry. Run.
Am I last up for number 3?
No, you can go ahead, John, and then I'll do mine.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll go now because it's awkward. And this one is higher than a lot of you guys, and that's The Last of Us. And yeah, I'm really excited for it. I think what's making me super excited is all of the Naughty Dog information we've talked about the past couple of days. The original voice actors coming in to voice, do new lines for the house. Really shows the attention to detail Naughty Dog's really going to want to put into this. I think the fear of black walls is very valid because it's Hollywood, but I also think Naughty Dog is going to be breathing down their throat. And especially when Universal works with companies, I feel like they always work more with Hollywood than they do Orlando. Like, I don't know why, it just sometimes feels like that. They always get, more of a, presence. They're always at their red carpets, so it just sort of feels like that, even if it's not necessarily true. John Murdy seems really excited. He talked about this one a lot. And I think the best part about this for me is going to be that, unlike a lot of other things I said, is that it's in Hollywood, because now I think we get two completely different experiences with The Last of Us on both coasts. I think Orlando excels at the scenic. I think it looks beautiful. It's going to look beautiful. It's going to be big, humongous, lots of grand sets, and you're going to really feel like you're in the world. However, I'm afraid with those grand sets, is there going to be are they going to manage the sets and the scares at the same time? I think Hollywood is going to be the opposite side of the spectrum. I think the sets are going to be good, and they're going to have detail, and they're going to look great, but they're not going to be big and grand. They can't. It's in the Mummy Q location. They can't do it. But I think the scares, it might be the scariest house of that year. And something I love about Hollywood is that they can consistently scare the fuck out of me. Even in scare zones, they can you can just have me on the floor. And this particular property, the way it's super dark already, the way the creatures sound, the way they look, the way they move, and the way they can instantly just start bolting at you, at least in the game, really excites me. And I think the scares at Hollywood are gonna knock me on my ass, and that's what I'm really excited for. So yeah, The Last of Us at number 3.
What I've learned is we want two very different things out of this house, Jonathan. Two very different things.
Well, that's funny. Sorry, go ahead, John.
Oh no, sorry. The thing is, we're gonna get the sets most likely, hopefully, praying to God, in Orlando. So because we're already gonna get our fill over there, I'm okay if Hollywood gets our fill of a different, aspect of a house, because we're already hopefully seeing the scenic element on one coast. Yeah. But I also completely get what you're saying.
Well, yeah, I'm going to piggyback off of this, Jonathan, because my number 3 is also The Last of Us.
Yes.
I've never played the game. I got to say that. And I've only watched like one episode of the HBO show, and it was so sad that I turned it off.
Oh, no, I feel that, John. I feel that.
So what has this at number 3, though, is all the years that we had The Walking Dead at Horror Nights Hollywood. And every single year, even though I kind of stopped watching the show for the same damn reason, it just started getting really sad and repetitive. Every year they knocked it out of the ballpark with scenic. Like, they actually really went ham with all the environments for all those. I mean, even the facades. I mean, one year they built the whole damn prison and you got to walk through it. They did such a great job with those houses that although it's not the same, it's kind of in the same vein of like post-apocalypse, infection, virus, blah, blah, blah. I have a feeling that they're going to do a pretty damn good job with this scenic-wise. And I definitely hear you guys' worries. That's my biggest worry for Universal Monsters. But I think for whatever reason, this one they're going to do really well with, especially given all the years they've done The Walking Dead, and they've done it pretty damn well.
I will say, the reason you gave for why you kind of expect it to be good is kind of my biggest concern. Because I think it needs the detail. Otherwise, you really risk it feeling like any other zombie-infected apocalypse type house.
Yes.
That's my concern. That it is just going to be that.
Absolutely.
All right. Who's going next?
I believe we're on to number 2.
Yeah, we are.
All right. Well, I'll jump off with my number 2. My number 2 is the Terror Tram. And I'm going to say that I'm so excited for the Terror Tram that if it wasn't for my number 1, maybe being my most excited house on both coasts this year, that I believe the Terror Tram, just for me getting to experience the Terror Tram for the first time, when I thought the Terror Tram was gone for good, that I would never get to experience it again. And, back when we started this, I believe it was, there was a couple of years where we just thought it was gone. The fact that it's back and I get to experience it with this amazing theme, it probably would have been number one. But it does fall to number two. I am so excited for the Terror Tram. I can't wait.
That's pretty cool to hear. Again, from the Hollywood perspective to the Orlando perspective, the Terror Tram is something that's very unique to the West Coast. So I love that you're super hyped for it, Mike. That's dope. I hope it delivers, man.
Just so glad I get to do it.
This got ranked really high across the board. Like, you wouldn't expect the Terror Tram to get this high, but we all ranked it pretty high.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah, Terror Tram. You go. I'm proud of you.
Come on, Larry.
Don't screw this up, Hollywood.
Marty,
I swear I'll put you at number 9 every year after this if you mess it up. All right, I'll go to my number 2. It's scary. You guys have scared me, mainly John. But I'm going to stick to it. And
You're going to stick to it? Okay, I'm sorry.
Thank you. I have given, for at least 3 houses, I've said that Hollywood is the reason it's low. I'm going to say Hollywood is the reason this one's high. And that is going to be Universal Monsters Unmasked. I know Legends Collide flopped. It did. But every other one was an absolute banger that they've ever done in this series of Universal Monsters. It might be more hope, not going to lie. But this is going to be the rebound from last year. It's going to happen. I believe in it. When John Murdy has to dive deep into history and detail and like the real world and pull from that, I think that's where he shines. And this house is going to have a whole lot of that. So I truly have hope that Universal Monsters fully rebounds from last year's disappointment, to say the least.
I can't wait for Anubis to make a surprise appearance again.
Jonathan.
It's gonna be American Werewolf in Paris.
Oh my god!
But it's Anubis in Monsters, and you can blame Jonathan for that one, not me.
That's so fair.
All right, who's next?
I can go. So my number 2 is Stranger Things. And I think it's really funny that I ranked other IPs lower because it's Hollywood. I know that their last one was not great, but neither was ours. And I'm just really excited for season 4, honestly, on both coasts, and to see the differences because this is my first time getting to see Stranger Things on both coasts. So I'm just kind of optimistic across the board, I guess.
You were supposed to cherish that you'd never seen him on both coasts before.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Okay, sure.
I'm not jaded, I'm sorry.
Well, the way you laughed about Monsters.
I saw Legends last year, and I think I'm a little bitter.
A little?
Yeah, let me see how I feel at the end of September.
All right.
Well, I'll piggyback off of Jess because Stranger Things is also my number 2. I think overall, listen, first of all, y'all are so spoiled. Fucking Stranger Things 2, 3 in Orlando was so sick. It was so awesome. I loved it. I don't care what you say. You guys have it so good out there.
It was a house.
You don't even know how good it was. Ours was terrible. Straight up. There's no excusing it. There's no way to get around it. Fail. Absolute F. Straight F. But I think because of that, and I know and you guys bring up a good point that Murdy hasn't really talked about this one, and obviously, clearly, he's not super excited about it. But I think because it failed so hard, this one needs to succeed. It absolutely has to. And so this will be controversial to you too, John, but I really didn't like Hill House in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Any time that I'm taking a walk or something, listening to the podcast, and you speak so highly of it. I scream. I literally scream. I need you to know this. I scream.
Wow.
But I think Hill House could have been better had it not been for the pandemic and for the COVID restrictions they had to adapt to. So I have high hopes. I have such high hopes. Please don't make me look like a fool, Hollywood. I have such high hopes for Stranger Things, especially because it's a given. Like there's so many settings that could translate and so many scenes that could translate so well to a house that I think they can knock it out of the ballpark. And I made kind of an observation that I don't know how accurate it is, but it seems like this house, especially kind of the last good look that we saw inside of that soundstage, it seemed like the house was bigger than it's ever been in that space. So I hope that it's taking up more of a footprint than it ever has to fit some of these like really awesome set pieces, especially like Vecna's house. I'm really hopeful for this one.
Now, John, you said that after all the flops, Murdy has to make sure that he hits this one out of the park. Have you considered that he wants it to flop so they can never touch Stranger Things again? Like he's just doing this on purpose. I hate this franchise. I never want to see it again. If I keep making it terrible, it'll never come back. And it keeps coming back.
Yeah, listen, there is definitely a side of me that thinks that is very real. That's a very real possibility. But at the end of the day, just like, John was so adamant about not having original characters or not having any ties to Orlando in the beginning of Horror Nights Hollywood, of his reign in Hollywood, more and more every year, we're starting to see the Orlando influence in Hollywood. And it's a great thing. So I don't think he's going to have much of a choice coming up here soon. So go ahead, John. Do your worst.
He probably will.
There's one bit of hope that I just remembered about Stranger Things in Hollywood, and is that they're doing for annual pass holder month over there. They're doing like a special, like you got to reserve it, but you get to walk through the house with the lights on.
Yes, great point.
Which is like that's exciting, like they're not ashamed of the house, that they're willing to let people with the lights on walk through. So that's definitely a positive. And might go to what you're saying, John, about there, possibly being bigger sets and grander sets, and maybe this one they really, go, Stranger Things 4, you need these big sets in order for them to work. So, if anything, the sets are going to be better than the last two, which would be very exciting.
Yeah, and that's a great point, John. I totally forgot they're doing that because when they did that for Stranger Things 1, I mean the house was incredible in that first year that they did it, especially when you compare it to the second year that they did it. So that definitely gives me a vote of confidence that they're like, please look at how awesome this house is. I know we really fucked up last year. Please come take a look at this and tell your friends how cool it is.
I hope that is truly a good sign. I really do.
Me too.
All right. I believe we have one number 2 left to go. Is that the case? Or has everyone given their 2?
I'm the last one here.
All right, here we go.
And this one's there's a world where it's at 1, but I can't do it because it's Hollywood. And that is my number 2 is Chucky Ultimate Kill Count.
You scared me for a second. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, I did. The reason it's at 2 is because it's at Hollywood, and I think I'm very excited for John Murdy saying about all these cool effects, and they're going to blow people away, and they're going to be incredible. I'm also worried because it's Hollywood, and all of the effects I have personally seen have been very bad. Like if we're just talking straight up, like sort of puppets, animatronic type thing, I really haven't liked any of them. Like one of my, the one that immediately comes to my head is the Weeknd sitting in the chair, like just his head going around like he's a cartoon character. Like it was not good. So I'm worried. But then we saw the Midsummer Scream panel and saw them actually make an animatronic for another house that I'm sure we're all going to talk about soon. And that actually gave me a lot of hope. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. This is an actual animatronic and the bones of it look good. So now I'm hyped. But it's still at 2 because once again, I don't 100% trust it yet. But also, this is high because I love the Chucky property, and it feels like John Murdy really loves this house. I feel like he understands the Chucky character. Once again, that piece of info we just talked about Chucky cursing, giving no craps about theme parks or whatever and just doing his thing, and the theme parks having to censor him instead of, the other way around, and Chucky just deciding not to curse. Like, that is a fundamental thing that shows me how much they're staying true to this character, and that just makes me so happy. It makes me really happy. So I could go on for this house for hours. I've talked about it a lot before, and regarding Orlando's house and such, but this is number 2, and I think there is a very good chance that they pull it off. It will end up being my number 1. I just have a little bit of hesitance right now.
I'm actually surprised you had the restraint not to put it at 1.
Yeah,
fully surprised.
I was close. I was going back and forth for a while, but after that Midsummer Scream panel with what we're all about to talk about, I couldn't just yet, especially with my fears for it, which are still there, but are definitely lessened from what John Murdy has been saying.
All right.
Don't lie. You just didn't want us to get mad at you.
I mean, that is part of it, but also...
He didn't want to get yelled at by the 4 of us.
I would have got yelled at, but
I was nervous, Jonathan.
You almost ruined it. All right. Well, on the countdown, let's all say it. 3, 2, 1.
Monstro. Yes.
Yeah,
I think we all knew that was going to happen. Like,
giant sacks.
Come on. We all cannot wait to enter the giant sack.
Woo! I'm so excited.
Yeah, who wants to go first? I'll go first.
Mike.
I really just want to go first, but I had to offer it, right?
Yeah, right.
The moment John Murdy got up on the stage at Midsummer Scream, and he started revealing this, that's when I realized John Murdy's not just a weirdo. He's just a weirdo on he's just a weirdo on Twitter. Like he had us eating out of his hand. The way that he was describing this, if he was selling us an MLM, we would all be $20,000 poorer in that moment. Like, he was just had us all hooked. We were all typing, just furiously. We were so excited. And I mean, I alluded to it before. It is my most hype house on both coasts at HHN this year. I think this is going to be just so amazing. The storytelling, the research that John Murdy did and his team. I think the passion oozed out of him in this panel, and I really, really hope that translates to the house. And some of the things that he showed us, I'm very sure that it's going to, especially when we saw, La Llorona last year, just kind of the level that some of these houses have gotten over at Hollywood. I think this is just going to be amped up just one level higher. And I just cannot wait to see what they do here.
Yeah, as you mentioned, we have a 365 group chat where we were basically live messaging Ether about this. And once he started doing the Monstrose presentation, it was insanity, bedlam in our 4-person group chat. Like, we were losing our minds. I think I also text John after and was like, "Holy shit!" It was. It really comes down a lot to, one, he showed us some great stuff, but 2, like, how good La Llorona was last year. And kind of taking that same, how do I put it? Just the whole vibe, like everything about it, the approach, the vibe, but times 3 now, we're going with 3 legends at this point. And the sets look phenomenal from what we saw in concept. We now see the full facade with the walls down. It's fucking gorgeous. It is definitely one of my top hyped houses anywhere this year, if not number 1. So I cannot wait. I really cannot wait.
I just love that it's multiple cryptids. Like, for so long, La Lechuza was like the leading theory. And then when he whipped out the other 3, we were like, whoa! It was so cool. I love that it's not just one of them. It's so many of them. And yeah, honestly, they've been doing so good with the Latin American mazes in that spot. Really, really awesome. I'm very excited for the Scare Zone too, because last year Pueblo del Terror was so good. So good.
Mm.
Like the energy was so high there all the time. Visually, it looked amazing with the lighting and seeing La Llorona walk around and through the fog and all the other creatures. So awesome. I can't wait to see what they do with this. And yeah, I think at the end of the day, this is going to be for sure worth all the hype that we're getting it or giving it, because yeah, really, really awesome. All the stuff they revealed at Midsummer Scream has me very excited.
Mm. Just Jonathan, come on! I know you're excited.
I'm going, Jonathan.
Go for it, please.
We talked about it when we talked about the panel, but like I'm so excited about this. La Llorona was one of the first houses I ever saw on YouTube, like the original back in Hollywood, and getting to see it last year was amazing, and just seeing what they can do with stuff like this, and now we're getting this huge mashup, and I'm so excited, and the scare zone that goes along with it. I know we're not talking about that specifically, but all of this is just so exciting, and there's no way anything's going to top this.
Yeah, I mean, I'm echoing pretty much everyone's same thoughts. I guess the only interesting thing I can give is my opinions on La Llorona that I saw last year, and I really loved it. I thought the best part about it was like when it got really gory, really intense, really real about, like eating children and stuff like that. That is dark. That's some dark shit. And they not only showed it, but they made sure like you felt it walking through the house. And that was like incredibly cool. But it took a while to get there. It still took a bit until you can get to that, that part that I think was the ultimate, just it hit you hard before you left the house. This one, it feels like right away we're gonna get into dark shit. Like they're not holding back. There's no like build up. It's just we're immediately there. We're immediately gonna get into drinking the blood of infants and crap, and it's gonna be really sick, really disturbing right when you walk in. And that has me really excited. I think it's great when haunts can push obviously there's boundaries you can't push, but can push a boundary like that and really make it dark and make you walk through it and actually feel scared. Usually when you're walking through haunts, you like getting the feeling of a jump scare, but you're never, scared. You're never deeply disturbed, in most cases. La Llorona deeply disturbed me, and it looks like this is going to do that too. And I can't wait. I'm super excited to see how they pull this off. And I do think it could be my number one as well if it works.
Wow, huge surprise! We're all super excited about this house. Who would have thought?
Yeah,
I'm shocked.
But before we end the hype list segment of this episode, I did take a page out of the Catacombs hype list playbook, and I averaged out all our rankings to see where everything falls. And the middle gets very interesting because we had a few that were very different. So let's start with the obvious bottom at number 9 with an average ranking of 8 even. That's The Exorcist Believer.
Wow.
Who would have thought?
Makes sense.
Number 8 with an average ranking of 7.6, we have Holidays in Hell. Number 7 with an average rating of 6.2, Evil Dead Rise. Wow. And here are going to be two that had crazy, wild variations of rankings across the board. And we don't have a 6 because they're tied at 5 with 4.8. That is Stranger Things and Chucky.
Dang.
Wow.
Dang.
Yeah. Wow. At number 4 with a 4.6 average rating, Universal Monsters Unmasked.
Oops.
Yeah.
Sorry, not sorry.
At number 3 with an average 4.2 ranking, we have The Last of Us. At number 2 with an average 3.8, we have The Terror Tram. The
Wow. Holy smokes, man.
Larry.
Yeah.
Look at how far it's come.
Right?
Good for it.
You go, Beetlejuice. I mean,
Harry could never.
Never. And
it's Larry's time now.
Clean sweep. Average 1.0 ranking is monstrous. But yeah,
very
Terror Tram at number 2 is insane. So proud.
Yeah. Crazy.
So proud.
Crazy.
Wow.
Right. And that is our
This
hype
was
lists.
fascinating. Truly fascinating, y'all. I can't wait to see where all the rankings stand after the season, because holy smokes.
We're going to be so wrong.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to be so
Probably.
wrong.
Yeah.
As always, we're never right. Come on.
Hey, Legends Collide was my number one hyped house last year.
Oh, no.
Man.
Yikes.
Oh.
No, in Orlando. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
And Wicked Growth the year before. I've been spot on in Orlando again. And I must say that. Hollywood, I think I was pretty hyped for Legends Collide. I'm done talking. All right. We have some other stuff. Jonathan, you want to take that?
Yeah. This is some other stuff that was announced with the houses, of course. And that is that the Death Eaters will return. It's weird because it's not on the website, but it's on every press release talking about HHN Hollywood. So they are returning. It's just I don't know why it's not on the website yet, but that's always a fun thing. I know we all like that experience, and hopefully they expand it out a bit more. But I think this is a great thing that's coming back. Does anyone have any thoughts about the Death Eaters coming back?
Thank God.
Yeah.
Basically sums it up.
Yeah, I've been waiting for them to come ever since I think it was like on the east, or I'm sorry, like the East Parks. I think, was it Japan? I forgot where. Ever since they landed in that land, I was like, we need to have them for Horror Nights. And so it's kind of fun that they're coming back. And I hope that they got the setup got a little more involved for the Dark Arts show they just did in Hollywood. We had the Death Eaters in July running around Hogsmeade, and they had like a little opening show moment. I hope that they incorporate a little bit more of that into this season, because last year it kind of was missing that. But honestly, it's the perfect addition to the area, especially since you have to walk through it anyways.
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely. It's really nice, and I like for them to expand it. Like that would be really cool if they did some more show moments and stuff like that. It'd be great. But we also got some more for Hollywood specifically. Got some more food locations for specialty HHN food, and the first thing it says is Stranger Things fans can visit Surfer Boy Pizza for a variety of pizza flavors, Scoops Ahoy for tasty ice cream creations, and a new 80s themed Stellar Bar with mixed cocktails. Are any of us really surprised by any of these besides the bar that seems original?
I mean, Scoops Ahoy, it really shouldn't be there, but okay.
It shouldn't.
Yeah.
But
True.
Am I shocked
true.
they forced it in? No, I'm not.
Yeah, I am interested. Like, is there no bar in Stranger Things they can just pull? Like, is there no famous bar from the show? They just have to sort of create a new one?
I mean, it's centered around kids, so
Yeah, I was gonna say they're
not.
kids, John. They're not exactly hanging out in
adults.
bars. Hardly.
Hopper's in prison for the entire season, Jonathan.
Give you I don't know. I don't know. I was going with that.
All right. Let's move to the next one. How about that?
Yeah. But here's an interesting one. Quick service restaurant Hollywood and Dine will transform into a Chucky themed BBQ featuring brisket and Nashville popcorn chicken sandwiches, pulled pork macaroni and cheese, funnel cakes, and themed drinks. The reason I felt like sad about that is because I remember like Texas Chainsaw Massacre getting the BBQ stand, and I was super excited. I'm like, oh my god, this is perfect! I can't wait. But my entire time in California before that, I've just been eating chicken. It hasn't really been like I haven't really wanted to. It's just kind of what made the most sense. And so I got up there, and I'm like, man, I can't wait to have some ribs and whatever. Then I get up there, it's like the best item on the menu was the pulled chicken sandwich, and I was so pissed. I'm like, are you kidding me? So I always it's such a silly thing, but once again, my favorite property getting regulated to the BBQ stand makes sense.
I was gonna say I thought you were upset because we got the Texas Chainsaw one. Then it was Killer Clown's barbecue because that makes a lot of sense.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Chucky barbecue.
It's every one of my favorite. I guess last year was Weekend, but still, Clowns is still like high up there. Like every one of my love properties ends up being a BBQ place, and I just what does Chucky have to do with BBQ? I don't get it. Like
he's a slasher. Barbecue sauce looks like blood, I guess. I don't know.
Gotta have funnel cakes too for no reason.
Hey, I will fuck up a funnel cake. Do not.
All right. This next one here, the Carl Lamel patio, will feature, like it's been technically rumored for Orlando, even though it's kind of confirmed. Peacock's Halloween horror bar with themed cocktails from The Purge and Chucky, and photo opportunities with scare actors. But this one's a little interesting because we got more detail from Murdy. Basically, someone asked Murdy, "Hey, I have a weird question. But with the Peacock Bar promoting photo ops, might we have a chance to meet David S. Pumpkins, like how Orlando is doing the same with theirs?" And he said, the photo op, I assume that's what he means, alternates between David S. Pumpkins and the Bride of Frankenstein.
Fuck yeah.
Two completely different characters. But yeah, those are some of the people you're going to meet in the Peacock Bar over there.
And it's the bride. It's the bride without the mask on, like he showed us at Midsummer. He said she was going to pop up at the event.
Right, right. Yeah, I was going to say that. He alluded to that in the panel. He was like, the bride's coming.
I can meet David S. Pumpkins over here. I will be meeting her.
I want to watch the Bride of Frankenstein Lives Peacock show. It'd be fun.
Oh, dude, honestly, that would be pretty cool.
That would be good. There is another returning food/beverage location though, and it's going to be in Universal Plaza. We're going to have Dia de los Muertos featuring an array of Latin folklore themed cocktails, Loco China taco stand, and a margarita bar.
Can they add some poke, please? I mean, John Murdy went on for like 40 minutes about poke. Right? I'm just kidding. I know that's very hard to.
I will say these are a lot of options. There are like plenty of areas to get food in HHN Hollywood. I know one of my, before I mean, even when I had Express, I'm gonna go on an RIP tour this year with you guys, which I'm super excited about. But when I wasn't on that, getting food was always a struggle. Always, no matter if I had Express or or just whatever. Like grabbing food took so much time and energy because the lines were always so long that I just never did it. Like I ate before the event. I ate a lot before the event started. Didn't eat a single thing during, and then I'd eat after because the lines were so atrocious. So I really hope they can fix that this year. There are a lot of areas to eat now, so hopefully it's doable to actually eat if you're if you don't have the RIP tour, instead of wasting so much of your time and therefore missing the opportunity to do houses and zones and all that good stuff.
Especially because I'm so tired of eating at freaking Krusty Burger and all that, man. Like that. That was kind of the hot spot for Hollywood to get food. But so I'm glad that they're expanding the options, and the Mexican food they usually have in the courtyard there is pretty damn good, man. It slaps. So yeah, I'm pretty excited for that to come back, and yeah, for the options to expand, because thank God, finally.
Absolutely. And now we are done with all of the HHN Hollywood news and rumors and hype lists and all that good stuff.
Well,
and
actually,
we're going to move.
John, sorry, yeah? I do have a little tidbit for you guys if you want it. I know we didn't talk about this, but
toss it in.
I literally just saw something right now. If you're not following her on Instagram, she's great. She's an awesome photographer. Her name is Jen, at Jennifer.A. She's at the park today, and she was watching Waterworld. And there is a new stick of lighting truss hanging from the Waterworld arena that has never been there before, and they don't use it for the show.
Oh my God.
So, friends, I think we're definitely getting a show there.
Yes.
So, breaking news.
Oh God,
wow.
I was not going to be excited for whatever the show was. I have changed my mind already.
Yeah, they've added a lot of lighting, so it's pretty exciting. Pretty exciting.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, didn't we get this weird like audition call out for like things that we're like, this has to be a show, right? I've been excited since we had that the audition leak. I really hope it's something exciting.
So we should hopefully see an announcement for that. pretty soon here, because we still haven't had Scare Zone announcements, but I have a feeling they're going to start rolling out pretty soon here, because it's usually like the last 2 or 3 weeks before the event starts that they start quite literally rolling out into the park.
It's that time.
You know what's funny? Even John Murdy, in some responses, they were like, "Oh, Scare Zones haven't been released yet." And he's like, "They haven't? What's going on?" Like, even he was confused. It's like, what do you mean they didn't announce Scare Zones?
All right, and with that, we are going to head back to Orlando, and that means, unfortunately, we don't need the help of our friend John. So thank you so much for joining us. Of course, we're going to have you back probably multiple times before the season is over. Got to hear what you think about the event too. But as always, thanks so much for joining us.
And thanks for having me, guys. It's always a real pleasure. I can't wait to hear what you guys think of Hollywood this year. And I'm also really excited to head out to Orlando. I'm going to be there opening weekend and closing weekend. So the addiction is real, and we're going to be hanging out a lot, and I can't wait.
I am so looking forward to it. And if you just want to tell the people where they can find you and what you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. Instagram and Twitter. I refuse to call it X. Twitter at the Hauntline. You can visit us on the web, thehauntline.com. And also youtube.com/the Hauntline. And we've got a lot of fun stuff coming up on YouTube. So stay tuned. And I'm also going to be putting together a lot of like fun, short little videos, tips and tricks, rankings, what have you. So be on the lookout for that.
Awesome. Thanks so much for joining us again, John.
Of course. Thanks, guys.
All right. So as we always start with Orlando recently, there's a ton of construction updates. However, there's been so many. I don't even remember what happened since last week. It's a lot. Go check out our TikTok. We do construction updates every 2 to 3 days, detailing everything we can. A lot of fun stuff, including new Boris Schuster stuff as well. So just go check our TikTok out, and you'll see all the fun stuff. Another thing that we're going to kind of send you somewhere else for rather than talk about it here is going to be the Taste of Terror, the HHN 32 food preview event. We went, as we mentioned earlier. It's going to be on YouTube by the time you're listening to this. We review all the food and tell you what we thought about the event, as well as a good look at all of it. But overall, I think we can mention we enjoyed it. So, their teaser.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun.
So let's get into the stuff we can actually discuss a bit.
Yes.
As we have recently in tribute stores, there's going to be a way for you to live with inside it permanently. And by permanently, I mean for the 2 months it's there. This time, guests will be able to be on the cover of a comic book in HHN 32's tribute store for only $89. There are 5 options that you can choose from, and you get your cover and the rest of the story shipped to you at the end of the event. So that means a full comic book with you on it.
Amazing.
The 5 stories that you can choose from is The Curator, Grave Consequences, False Idols Part 1, a Boris Schuster mystery, Pay Up, and Eyes of the Ripper. So they look really cool. You can already go check out what the covers look like. They look great. You could be on the cover of a Boris Schuster comic if you want and have it in your hands.
That is very cool. I don't know if I will do it, but it's very cool.
Yeah, this is my favorite one of these that they've done.
This is the first one that's like fully tempted me, where I'm like, oh, okay,
this
is fucking cool. And you know there's going to be people who do all 5.
Oh, absolutely.
You know it. This is a collectible. This isn't just like your picture and nothing else. This is something quantitative.
Oh my God, it's going to be a shelf, like a comic shelf. It's going to be so cool.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be so popular. Like, just think of all the parents who are like, well, I have to do that for my kids. I have to do that as a keepsake.
Me to my husband.
Yeah. Like, this is,
surprisingly, this is also cheaper than past iterations of this. And you get a whole fucking comic book out of it. So keep that in mind. Good value here.
The 2 that really excite me are one, Pay Up, because it seems like it's going to be a deal with the devil type story, sort of relating to what we're going to get as an original this year. But also, I mean, the Boris Schuster one, that means technically more lore for Boris Schuster. Like, even if I don't know if I'm going to get it, but I'm sure people are going to post online what the story is, and that's going to be really cool. To see Boris Schuster have a little bit more representation at this event and give them some more detail, more backstory, more more adventures. That's such a really cool thing that they didn't need to do, but they're doing it anyways, and I think that's fun. But,
all right,
yeah,
well, go ahead. You got it. All you.
I got this one. The minute you see Chucky, anything,
this is yours.
Jonathan.
Yes.
This is the weirdest thing I've personally seen in terms of marketing in my HHN life. There might have been weirder things, but in Cinnabon, Chucky, Tiffany, and Glenn and Glenda are they're in Cinnabon, in City Walk. They're wrapped up in like a packaging. They have little notes on them saying their names and everything like that, where they're shipped to. And there's a big photograph of all of them on there saying, like basically we're coming soon. Get ready, Universal, stuff like that. And behind them are a bunch of pictures of them at Universal, at in City Walk, hanging out at Universal, just having a nice family vacation, which is really nice. They're just relaxing, before the event begins. There's also a particular picture with them next to a Cinnabon that's red, so I would assume all of this is just to promote a Cinnabon that's going to be themed to Chucky, but it's still a lot of marketing for that, and I think that's really clever. But the detail that has me the most interested and really quite happy is all the way on the left. There's a newspaper that details the events of the original Child's Play. I mean, not only details it shows the originally Andy Barclay and his mom, and Chucky, the picture that's from all the movies and stuff. And that's awesome because the first Child's Play is stuck in rights hell. Universal, I might be wrong, but whatever. Universal doesn't own Child's Play 1. They own Child's Play 2 onward. But Child's Play 1's always been off limits. So I'm kind of find it fun that they were able to sort of get away with little Child's Play 1 references in Cinnabon, because who cares? The lawyers aren't going to be storming Cinnabon to take it down. Yeah, I think this is a really fun marketing technique that doesn't need to go as hard as it does, but it is anyways, because Chucky is awesome.
That was much more beautifully put than I would have said it. So thanks, Jonathan. And then, does anyone want to take
yes.
the last bit of news? Yeah, I figured.
It's me. Hi. So I don't know where we exactly saw this, but there was a picture of a little HHN merch preview, and we got a preview of a Little Boo backpack, and a Never Go Alone acid wash flannel. And at the bottom, it said August 18th of both of them. So we're assuming we're getting a merchandise kind of reveal preview of some kind on Friday. And I don't know about you guys, but I don't need another HHN long sleeve, but that flannel is so cute. I'm sorry, I need it. My other gripe, though, is Knott's has lounge flies. This Little Boo backpack is still not a lounge fly. And I can tell.
They got legit Spirit jerseys, but they're still slacking on lounge flies.
And I hate the fabric that they choose for the knockoffs. It's not great. But, maybe next year.
That wasn't anyways, so it's fine.
I find it fun, and we talked about this before with Cabana Bay. How Little Boo's gonna have a presence in there. Mm-hmm. The Little Boo is not only past 30, and transcended and went to 31 in a year that makes a lot of sense for Little Boo to be in, but now he's just in 32. He's like, hello, I'm still here. I wonder how long he lasts, how long they're gonna milk Little Boo until until they finally decide it's not worth it to have him anymore, at least on merchandise.
Forever. Oh, I will say one more thing about that Little Boo backpack. There is a chain on it, and sometimes security is hit or miss, because I know HHN has a rule against wallet chains and stuff, and there have been cases in the past where wallets that have been sold at the event were taken at security or sent back to their cars. So I think it's very interesting that this has a little chain on it. So I don't know. Use caution.
All right. I believe that's it for all the updates, the news, the rumors. I guess we're past rumors. But we do have a voicemail, I believe.
Yes, we do.
Oh, thanks so much for the voicemail and all the kind words as well. Appreciate that. I mean, I completely agree. You can get too many stages, and I've seen that a lot in past years. HHN 30, like you said, as a whole, I understand why specifically that year, but I specifically think to something like Lights, Camera, Action, and I know a lot of people did enjoy it, but a lot of what drew me out of that specific zone was how stage based it could be. And I think getting back to what we had with Graveyard Deadly Unrest was a breath of fresh air. And I don't want to see Hollywood go back to stages in that sense. I mean, stages are great. You can utilize them in great ways. But in recent years, when that happens, it's kind of taken away from the actual atmosphere within the street itself.
Yeah, I definitely hope they complement the atmosphere rather than just being the zone. And they're a tool to make the zone better rather than being the entire focus of it.
Yeah, I agree. I know that I said, last week, I want stages and high concept. And what I mean by that is I do not want lights, camera, action. But that was also a product of the time and the pandemic and everything. Thinking, elevating them will get them out of people's faces somehow. But I think that doing it the way that Graveyard was done with one main stage and then letting all the other actors, remain on the ground, eye level with all of us. I think that is the formula that they need to stick to. And I think that maybe they're trying something in Zodiac right now because there are some stages. There's the little ones, but they're very themed and they're a little more jagged than just kind of like a box thrown up there. And I think that could also be more immersive than what we've seen in the past. So I'm curious. I'm hopeful.
We definitely have reason to be hopeful about it, I think.
Yeah, they definitely alluded to, I think, on the official, Discovery Universal podcast that it is going to be like, oh, okay, find your Zodiac and take a picture with your Zodiac. So I do think it's going to me, I think it's going to be a lot kind of like Seven from 2011 or, one of those where there are probably going to be little stages for the Zodiacs. But that doesn't mean there can't be a bunch of other characters in the streets, and I really hope that the stages are not intrusive. All right, does anyone have any do we have any more voicemails, or do we have any more thoughts before we wrap it up?
I don't believe so.
All right. Well, thank you so much for listening. I know it was a long one, but we had a lot to cover. I think we're all very excited for Hollywood, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, yeah, I'm very excited for every event. So, I mean, our main three at least, 2 HHNs and Scary Farm. Super stoked for all of them.
All right. Well, once again, I want to thank Jonathan from the Hauntline for joining us, and I also want to say that you can always follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at HHN365, and at TikTok at HHN365Pod. Join us on our Discord. The discussion is amazing, and it's only ramping up. The link is in the description. We have a merch shop. Keep your eye on it. At hhn365.com and leave us a voicemail at 407-906-4134, and we'll see you in the streets.